Welcome to the Greater Pensacola Chamber Toddcast, featuring the Vice President of Public Affairs, Todd Thompson. Join us as Todd talks to leaders in business, government, education, tourism, and other areas of interest to our local business community. And now, today's Toddcast.
Welcome back to the Toddcast. I'm Todd Thompson, President and CEO of the Greater Pensacola Chamber of Commerce, here on a beautiful Chamber of Commerce day down here on South Palafox. And with me, as always, is Lico Crump. How you doing, Lico?
I'm doing fantastic, as usual. Of course, always a pleasure to assist in the production of the Pensacola Chamber Toddcast. It's quite an honor.
You do fantastic work.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Really appreciate it. So even though we're in the summertime here, we're going to talk a little education today with our special guest, Dr. Ed Meadows, President of Pensacola State College. Dr. Meadows, welcome.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, Todd.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, how you ended up at Pensacola State.
Well, it's a long story because I've had a long career. Right. I'm from Mississippi. After I finished my formal education, I moved back to Mississippi, spent 10 years in the community college system there as a faculty member, department head, a campus dean. Went to Tennessee after that, where I was chief academic officer in Memphis, and then to Alabama. Spent 17 years in Alabama, 12 of those years as a college president.
Okay.
At two different institutions. Was a part of the merging process in Alabama of merging technical colleges with community colleges. So I was a part of 5 different mergers.
Okay, wow.
And had the good fortune of applying to what was then Pensacola Junior College, and was selected as their 6th president in 2008. So completing about 11 years as the president of Pensacola State College.
Wow. So, but that's been your first experience in Florida.
First experience in Florida was coming to Pensacola.
Okay.
As the president.
Okay. And how does Florida compare the state college system here to Alabama, Mississippi?
Well, it's not called the Great 28 for nothing. Probably the Florida college system is the envy of the rest of the nation in terms of innovation, in terms of creativity, in terms of the diversity of programs, and also we are nationally known in a lot of different categories. 2 important categories would be retention of students and graduation of students, and diversity of programs. We're one of the few states that also, as community colleges, offer baccalaureate degrees in workforce. And if you look at, there's a national prize, it's called the Aspen Award.
Okay.
It's for the most outstanding associate degree granting institution in the nation. We have, over the past several years, won that award 3 different times.
Wow. We
have as many as a matter of fact, we have so many eligible institutions, we're limited in the number of institutions that can be finalists for the award. So I would say that the Florida college system is the leading, if not in all categories, in the top 5 of all categories of higher education for associate degree granting institutions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually got my master's in education in South Carolina a little while ago, but even back then they talked about Florida as really being the leader and the model for what state colleges should look like. And
you're exactly right. All the other states know about the historical 2+2 that the legislature passed that guaranteed admission to a state university if you completed an associate degree at one of the 28 colleges in Florida.
Right.
And that model has been duplicated across the nation. And in many instances, other types of program innovation have also been adopted across the nation. We have another award. It's in the Futures Assembly, which is an annual convention. There's the Bellwether Award, and there have been more Florida colleges win that award, and Pensacola State has also won that award.
That's awesome.
So more colleges in Florida have won that award than any other state.
Okay. So, yeah, let's talk specifically about Pensacola State. Kind of give us an overview, how many students you have, some of your programming, that sort of thing.
Well, we annually we have between 15 and 16,000 credit students a year. If you look at all the different kinds of students that we have, the credit and the non-credit, which would include our corporate and professional development training and the continuing education, exceeds 31,000 students a year.
Wow.
But our credit students, if you look at semester by semester, it's hovers around 14,000 a semester.
Okay.
In the summer, of course, the enrollment is a little bit smaller, but all in all, on an annual basis, we have over 31,000 students enrolled.
Now, is that just in Pensacola, or do you have multiple campuses?
Well, we're a multi-campus institution. Our service area is Escambia and Santa Rosa counties, but of course we draw students from the region, and particularly from Alabama, Baldwin County, Covenant County, Escambia County up in Alabama. But we have the Pensacola campus next between the airport and the mall. Mm-hmm. That's the administrative campus. It was opened first in the mid-1950s.
Okay.
And then we have the Milton Campus and the Warrenton Campus. Our Milton Campus, we have a special partnership with the University of Florida where they have a building on that campus where our students can get their associate degree from us, and they can get their baccalaureate degree from University of Florida in natural resources, forestry, horticulture, plant science. So they don't have to go all the way to Gainesville to get that degree.
Right.
And the Warrenton campus is primarily our medical campus. It's our health science and nursing campus.
Okay.
We have 3 centers. We have the South Santa Rosa Center. It was opened in 2010 between Navarre and Gulf Breeze in the area called Midway.
Right.
And then we have the downtown center here, which you're very familiar with.
Oh, yeah.
And the bottom 3 floors is a partnership with, our Economic Development Alliance, Florida West, for an incubator.
Right.
And the top floor is where we do our corporate and professional development training. And then our last center is in Century. We leased for a number of years the closed elementary school from Escambia County, and then bought that center. And we have a number of vocational offerings there in adult education. We're getting ready to open a new center in the industrial park off of I-10 in Santa Rosa County, and that will be for our truck driver training program.
Okay.
So we'll actually have 4 centers and 3 campuses in the 2-county area.
Okay. So, I had no idea that Pensacola State had that sort of footprint throughout the region. That's pretty remarkable, and that many students that you service every year.
Well, our mission is access and quality education and affordable education. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, we're in the top 1% of affordability in the nation.
Really?
Yes. And, of course, we owe some of that to Governor Rick Scott and the current governor, who had a very strong point on not raising tuition.
Right.
So we've not raised tuition in 6 years.
That's great.
So it's a great buy for students. As a matter of fact, our out-of-state tuition, we have a reciprocal agreement with Alabama. Okay. And so an Alabama resident can come to Pensacola State College for in-state tuition plus $10 a semester hour. That's actually less than Alabama's in-state tuition.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. So you mentioned Governor Scott, or now Senator Scott, and Governor DeSantis. I know Governor DeSantis has really put an emphasis on career training, and you don't have to go to a 4-year institution to get the training you need to get a good quality, high-paying job. Talk about that focus at Pensacola State.
Well, of course, our primary degree is the associate degree, and our largest enrolled program is the Associate of Arts degree, which is a university transfer degree. Some of those students will transfer out of state, but by and large, the majority of our Associate of Arts students, they will attend an in-state university, and the majority of those will attend a state university, and the majority of those will attend UWF.
Right.
That's our main feeder. But we do have students that go all over the state to different universities, and some do out of state. On the workforce side, almost half of our students are enrolled in an Associate of Science degree program or a workforce certificate program, or the baccalaureate degree in a workforce program. The Associate of Arts is our largest enrolled program. Our Associate of Science in Health Services Management, which is a degree program that students enter into as they prepare for their prerequisites for either nursing or one of our health sciences curriculum like dental hygiene or radiology or surge tech or some area like that. And then our Bachelor of Applied Science in Business and Management is another enlarged program, enrolled program. And I would say the single largest enrolled health science program is our nursing degree program. And then we also have a rapidly expanding Associate of Science degree in cybersecurity, and a baccalaureate degree in cybersecurity.
Right. Yeah, that's.
So those are huge. Those are our 5 top enrolled programs.
Okay. So, yeah, the cyber area is really expanding and growing in our community.
Well, we were the first institution of higher education in the state of Florida to offer a baccalaureate degree in cybersecurity.
Okay, wow.
And we got our start with a federal grant to start the associate degree program. And then I think our baccalaureate degree in cyber is 3 years old now, going on 3 years old.
Okay. So, yeah, talk about a little bit, things are always evolving, always changing in education and workforce and that sort of thing. So at Pensacola State, what's sort of the vision of the future? What do you see sort of happening as things change?
Well, the state has been very generous to higher education historically. Unfortunately, that's not been the case since the Great Recession. We've struggled with gaining financial support from the state. We're about 50% state supported now. As a result of declining state support, the institution is having to become more entrepreneurial, as all other institutions in the state of Florida are becoming more entrepreneurial, and probably this is a trend across the nation as well. I think for the future, we are probably going to continue to rely upon, the federal government to assist us with special programs, particularly for need-based students. We have a very large population of need-based students. As a matter of fact, 70% of our students have to have some form of financial assistance.
Really? Okay.
To attend the one of the lowest cost institutions in the nation.
Yeah.
So a lot of our students, and I would say the majority of our students, they work part-time or full-time. Half of our students are termed non-traditional students. They have families and work responsibilities. We do get our share of the fresh high school graduates.
Right.
And those students do very well at Pensacola State in preparation for a baccalaureate degree elsewhere. I think some of the forward-looking financial concerns of the institution is that we're going to have to rely more and more upon our foundation to secure scholarships for students. We have a number of workforce programs available. They're called short workforce programs because they take a semester to 2 semesters to complete.
Okay.
But many of those are not eligible for federal financial aid.
Okay.
And when you have 70% of your students needing some form of financial aid, that creates a situation where you're having to try to help students bridge the gap, the financial gap.
Right.
If you have students that are trying to get into the workforce quickly, which happened in 2008, 9, and 10 when people were losing their jobs because of the recession, then we made a concerted effort then and continue to make a concerted effort to find those short-term workforce certificates that put people back into the workforce in a half year to a year. And unfortunately, those programs, students must rely upon their savings, or they must borrow money, or get help from our college foundation.
Right. So while you have students who are going in directly from high school, or maybe they've been in the military and they're looking for training, you also have programs for employers that have employees that need training.
Right.
Talk about that a little bit.
Our corporate and professional development training department goes out and meets with local business and industry to see what kind of training they need. And you can't do it alone. There are partnerships with business and industry where we collaborate with them on looking at customized curriculum. And we do everything from OSHA training to safety training to high-skill, high-tech training. A lot of companies, particularly the incubator, those are tech companies, they're virtual companies using the internet. So we do a lot of training there to help people with their technology skills. And a lot of companies call upon us to teach classes on site or either at the downtown center for their employees because technology continues to change.
Right.
You get a new version of the latest software, whether it's word processing or spreadsheet applications or QuickBooks or whatever it is. And so you've got to get your current employees up to speed on what changed in the new edition of of whatever the software that they're using. And of course, we do have a partnership with the University of Alabama. They got a federal grant that covered the entire Southeast for OSHA training.
Okay.
So they come down to Pensacola about 3 times a year, and they conduct OSHA training for the industries here.
Okay.
You can't understate how important it is to have good partners when you're trying to keep abreast of the latest industry standards for those that are currently employed. Right.
So if you're a business owner and you've got employees that need to be trained, what's the best way for them to engage with you all?
They can go to our website and they'll find our corporate professional development training information there. Ruth McKinnon is our director for workforce training, and she's at the downtown center.
Okay.
It's just really, and if you don't get to the website, if you're a low-tech person and make a telephone call to the operator, they'll put you in contact with Ruth McKinnon or someone that can help you, lead you in the right direction. We're putting an extra emphasis for the future on trying to connect our students before they graduate to local business and industry. So this fall, we will have a full-time person on board that is a liaison to business and industry to connect our career and technical education department to local business and industry that will help set business and industries up for student internships and co-ops, and in some cases apprenticeships. The state is really focusing on apprenticeships, but right now the financial model for that is not good, and there needs to be some legislation to fund that.
Okay.
So the best option for local employees to get a head start on the best students coming out of our programs is to engage our CTE department in internships. And so we're spearheading a full-time person for that. That'll be on the ground working with our local business and industry this fall for students that are in these specific technical areas, whether that be construction science or hospitality management or health science or computer science, cybersecurity, engineering, whatever those areas are, to help students get into companies as an intern.
Mm-hmm. That's great because, one of the things I hear often is that, I went to school here, or I grew up here, and I want to be in Pensacola, and these are from, students and recently graduated, but they're not the opportunities that I'm looking for, or maybe they're just not aware of the opportunities. It sounds like this is a great way to keep that talent here in Pensacola.
Well, that's exactly what we want to do.
Right.
We want to keep our brain trust and our skill trust here at home. And unfortunately, fortunately for the people that graduate, they earn a higher wage than high school graduates. And in many cases, a technical field associate degree will earn a higher wage than a baccalaureate degree in liberal arts in particular. But the region, if you look at the region as a whole, 98% of our students will stay in the region, not necessarily in Northwest Florida, but at least the region. And they may live in Florida,
right?
But they may have to go to one of the surrounding counties outside of Florida for employment, and that's certainly the case with welding. Welding is one of the best paying jobs you can get.
Right.
And we're beginning to get non-traditional students, I'm talking about females, into the welding area because of the high wage. But the shipyards in Mississippi and in Alabama is a lucrative field for them. And as a matter of fact, the shipyards actually provide transportation from Florida to the shipyards for our graduates that want to work in the shipyards.
Right.
So we have to look at, I guess, if they're paying their taxes here, they're bringing money from outside the state back to Northwest Florida. That's a good thing.
Yes, absolutely. So with the new ST Aerospace development at the airport, is that something that y'all are involved with some of the training there?
We're beginning to get involved with that, particularly since there will be expanding. What they wish to do with us is advanced certification training. So right now we're looking at programs like in blueprint reading, non-destructible material testing, some of the project management. They're interested in a just-in-time delivery system, so that requires some training in project management. Okay. So we'll be working with them in offering those advanced certifications. Some of those advanced certifications will be actually in our new bars building that we're under construction with now.
Right.
We have an advanced technology lab there that will be where some of the avionics training will take place, and some of the advanced certification training will take place in the advanced manufacturing lab. Well, not advanced manufacturing, but advanced technology lab.
Gotcha. So, there's a lot of exciting things happening. I mean, you got ST, you've got Navy Federal. They're the larger employers that are needing to, have employees trained. But what do you see from the smaller businesses? What are some of the areas that their training needs there? Well,
the construction industry is gearing back up now for new construction, and primarily construction of apartments and homes.
Right.
And so we're seeing a real need to have skilled workforce there in all the aspects of construction, from carpentry to plumbing to electrical, and particularly electrical. And a lot of those subcontractors are fairly small, but by and large, the majority of the companies in Northwest Florida are small. And part of the problem that you have there is when one company only needs one or two technicians a year. You've got to work together with all of them to couple that together.
Right.
And oftentimes when a new industry comes or a major industry expands, they're actually taking an existing workforce and moving them from one company to another. So the companies that lost those individuals, they've got to backfill there. And so there's an opportunity there for looking at advancement for people that are already working in the company that have the ability to work at a higher technical level. Mm-hmm. And then there's an opportunity for our students that are just out of high school, that are in a technical field, and that's where that co-op and where the internship is so very important.
Right.
Particularly to small businesses and industries of fewer than 25 individuals. So that's what we're hoping that we can do with this liaison to business and industry, that they'll be out there meeting with those smaller businesses and smaller industries to hook our students into those small companies that offer a good wage and good benefits, but they don't need 15 people all at once.
Right.
They may need 1 or 2 or 3 or 5.
Right.
So that we're hoping that strategy will work for the smaller business and industries in the region.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the truck driving certification that you'll be providing now. So that's new. How difficult is it to stand up a new program like that?
Well, it's very expensive. Any technical program is expensive, but truck driver training is very expensive. And we were fortunate that Governor Scott gave us a grant to initiate that. The Lewis Bear Company, Lewis Bear, has donated a truck.
Okay.
We've got a couple of other interested companies in donating equipment. What we would eventually like to see at this new site in Santa Rosa County is not only the truck driver training program, but diesel mechanics and lineman training. So all 3 of those, and of course the college is depending on some future grants, are hopeful that we can get some future grants to initiate those, the diesel mechanics and the lineman training. Mm-hmm. And of course that would be a partnership with Gulf Power on the lineman training and other utility companies,
right.
The cable companies, to do that. But as you look at some of the new technologies that are evolving, that creates jobs. Mm-hmm. I think we've got to be ever more scanning the horizon for those and making sure that the programs that are no longer current, that we phase those out to make room for the new emerging technology.
Right.
That creates jobs for our local citizens. And so that's, I think that Pensacola State, as well as all of higher education, has to be more strategic in looking at the future jobs,
right,
and preparing for those, because as nimble as we're supposed to be as a community college, it still takes time and resources to develop new programs.
Right. And with automation and artificial intelligence and things like that are really coming online, that's you got to be aware of all the new technologies and how they're impacting
right.
jobs and business.
And believe it or not, the military has some of the best trained technicians.
Right.
And fortunately for Pensacola, we have a lot of retiring military personnel that would love to stay here.
Right.
And I think if you look at our overall enrollment, it's close to 20% of our enrollment is affiliated with the military. They're either veterans or dependents of active military personnel or active military.
Okay.
And so we have 2 veterans programs sponsored by the federal government to help veterans transition into higher education. And, of course, we have been designated for years now as a military-friendly school. Mm-hmm. And meet the criteria, which became even more stringent this year for offering services to veterans. And there are some scholarships available in addition to, the GI Bill, mm-hmm. the new GI Bill, mm-hmm. That have been made available to veterans and their dependents.
Right.
So if you look at the skills that are already in the possession of exiting active military personnel, we have a good process to evaluate those skill sets and give advanced credit so that they don't have to start at the bottom.
Right.
They start where their skill set ends.
Right.
And that's the same way with articulation agreements with the secondary school system. With some of the academies, those students are coming to us with skill sets where you don't need to start at the bottom. You can start halfway through the program. And so that accelerates your completion of technical skill sets and technical degrees that puts students into the workforce quicker.
Yeah, that's great. And like you say, I mean, with the military, I mean, you've got trained professional workers that are ready to be in the workforce once they come out of the military, and just making sure that they know about these resources and can get the additional training they need and to get the jobs that they need.
Right.
Great. So anything else in particular you want to share with us?
Well, we've got over 90 programs of study at the college, 40 pre-majors that are built into the Associate of Arts degree, and we have 40 active student organizations ranging from intramural athletics to honor societies and social clubs. And, of course, we got 5 varsity sports at Pensacola State and starting women's cross country this fall.
Okay, great.
But our visual arts and performing arts that provides students, faculty, staff, and the community opportunities for cultural enrichment. I think we've got our high school theatrical performance coming up this summer, where we take the best talent in high schools and they come together and do a performance in the summer.
Okay.
So that's going to be something to look forward to this summer as they begin performing. And that'll probably be over a 2-week period. And then we have our Lyceum series during the year, where the community, students, faculty, and staff can come and see performing artists from across the world, as a matter of fact. And of course, the Charles Lamar Studios providing a fantastic opportunity to display visual arts. So we have some amenities. We also have an indoor swimming pool.
Right. Yeah.
And senior citizens really take advantage of that, and so they can sign up there to take swimming and do their exercise. So a lot of different things at the college. And, of course, we're the only institution of higher education with a PBS television station, WSRE.
Right.
So that's certainly something that engages the community and helps the quality of life in Northwest Florida. And so we're very happy to be a part of the community, to be ingrained in the community in such a way as that not only do we offer students a beginning to higher education, but we also offer them an opportunity to gain skill sets for the local employment opportunities in business and industry. And then the other amenities that I just mentioned are I guess, icing on the cake for the community.
Right.
And Pensacola, Northwest Florida is very fortunate to have Pensacola State, University of West Florida, and Pensacola Christian College, all in Pensacola, that afford, if you wish to stay home, the opportunity to stay home and get your formal education and your technical training.
Right. Well, and I'm often out at the college, and there's always just it seems like a bevy of activity that's going on, and it's just very vibrant. It's a great part of the community, and I think the location's great to be, like you say, you're near the airport, you're near kind of our urban core with the mall and what's happening around there. So it's just really a lot happening at Pensacola State, and appreciate your leadership there. I have to say I did not realize you had been president for 11 years. That's great. It's great to have that stability and be able to have the growth.
Well, we have a fantastic faculty and staff, and there's a love of the institution and the community, and great support from community leaders. We really, Todd, appreciate the Chamber's partnership with Pensacola State College, and look forward to future good things that we can do to support the Chamber of Commerce.
Likewise, and appreciate your leadership on our board of directors, and looking for ways we can continue to collaborate and make this a better community for students and for businesses.
Sounds like we've had a good Toddcast, or is that, what do you call it? This is the official name?
The Greater Pensacola Toddcast.
Toddcast, okay.
That's it.
I'm very honored to be a guest on your program, and look forward to maybe doing this again sometime.
Absolutely, yeah, would love to.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Ed Meadows, Pensacola State College, and we'll catch you all next time on the Toddcast.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Toddcast. To learn more, check out the Greater Pensacola Chamber's Facebook page and follow us on Twitter at ToddcastPCola. That's Toddcast, letter P, colon. We hope you join us again next time on the Toddcast.